difficulty, it is arguably the strongest discipline in the entire game. I'm not joking, it is ridiculously broken. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time. I'll start a scene in 3, 2, 1, and we go. And we go, and we go. Hello and welcome to another scene set in the living of the darkness, New York by night, as we hone in on two lovely love-struck neonates on the side of, well, near the top of a high-rise, their table overlooking the city, next to one of the windows, giving them the most beautiful sight of New York at night, with all the beautiful neon mixing and matching and blending in with itself. The car lights strobing on just below, as Selena arrives, Sam pulls out a chair for her, being the gentleman that he is around her.
She would lean forward and kiss him lightly on the cheek and smile at him warmly, and then take the seat and nod her thanks to him. He'd be able to see that she seems a little bothered by something. She doesn't seem to be as relaxed as she usually is. But given the current climate of the city and the current situation, I guess that's not completely surprising.
Yeah. I'll just roll a quick perception and for feed to see if it's the general climate of the city or if it's something seems to be something specific to her. I fail, so it's fine. He doesn't realize anything at all. If it was only one -1 difficulty, it'd be fine. But yeah.
And when he sits down, she'd extend a hand across the table and take one of his and kind of entwine her fingers with his, in a slightly more needy gesture than he would be used to seeing from Selena.
He understands the climate of the city is perhaps causing people to treasure what they have now, and Sam likewise knits his hand with hers. And Sam will just say, "It's so lovely to see you again, Selena. I'm sorry I haven't been able to get some alone time with you more." He seems quite tired. He looks very presentable, but his he's trying to appear presentable, but the way he talks is that of like he has just had the worst week.
She nod to him and say, "It's perfectly understandable, Precious. I know that your position now demands a lot of your time, and you have been so heroic and brave. I've been hearing all about your exploits. The city should be proud to have you."
But I wouldn't be able to go along without my little rosebud.
She would smile broadly, and for a minute her face kind of brightens. These are troubling times, darling, and I haven't been sleeping well. I have a foreboding feeling about the upcoming night.
I stay safe. I wouldn't want you to be getting into trouble now.
Well, Precious, actually, I was hoping to ask if you could help me with staying out of trouble. I I feel that I should learn to be of more use, and perhaps if I could shoot, then I may be able to help.
Oh no, you're my darling little diamond. Someone is, sorry, you're my darling little diamond. Someone is like, you shouldn't be on the front lines. You should be in the background. The front lines ain't for you. I don't want you to get yourself into more danger than you already are.
But darling, I wish to be able to protect myself should the need arise. I don't intend to put myself into any unnecessary danger, of course. And she'd grin at him and say, I have you to protect me in such cases.
That you do. Sometimes I forget
But
how insistent you can be.
well,
You're just such a pristine thing. I wouldn't like you to be spoiled by those folks.
well, I hope to keep my distance if I'm honest. But dear Arthur has plans to construct me a small handgun that he implies will be quite powerful despite its size. And I would very much learn I would very much like to learn how to use it correctly. We wouldn't want me to shoot myself in the foot now, would we? And she'd chuckle a little at her own joke.
I'd be very upset if that were to happen. I suppose I can teach you to defend yourself.
I thank you, Precious. So, what do you make of the new faces of the city?
Afra seems quite amiable. He made me a device for my own benefit myself.
And
Seemed to,
he has impeccable manners.
aye, very well mannered. There's the new gangrel, Nikki. She seems well, a little clueless, but she'll learn. And we need a heavy hitters we can get, so maybe she'll be useful. And there's the Russian and the Bruja, Chloe, although I don't really know those two too well.
I have met the two gangrel. I have not yet met Chloe.
I don't really know much about her. But she was vested and approved, so she should be trustworthy. And I met Jasmine. She's been pretty useful to me so far.
Selena's face would darken a little right then, and she would wrinkle her nose as an expression of distaste passed over her beautiful features. Yes, I seem to have clashed somewhat with that one. Quite the flighty upstart, in my opinion.
Oh, and he kind of like cups her cheek with his her cheeks with his two hands. Says, "What did she do to you? Is she being rude to our dear Primogen?"
She was, but I'd say incredibly disrespectful would be a more fitting term. She implied that because I'm prepared to fight if necessary, in this war that we have at the moment, that I would be distastefully scrapping on the streets like a Sabbat thug.
Oh.
I attempted to invite her to join our coterie, and she promptly refused. It seems she would prefer to join a war coterie, despite the fact that she strongly opposes war, it seems. A most confusing one.
Oh no, we can't be having that now, can we? I'll go find her and teach her some manners for you. Strokes her hair playfully.
She'd smile and kind of nuzzle against his hand. Well, I would appreciate that, darling. Some people just have no respect or manners.
Aye, it's such a bother nowadays.
But Lucy, on the other hand, why, she's simply delightful.
Aye, a bit timid, that one, but very well mannered, and seems to have a good head on her shoulders. If nothing else, she knows her place and where she stands and what her limits are, and that's more than you can say for most neonates nowadays.
Well, she is only a fledgling. She has a lot to learn, but I see great potential in her. She is lovely. I was very disappointed that our prince was not more accepting of her joining our coterie.
Aye, it's a shame, but we can always support her from the shadows. And,
I intend to, darling.
And I'll make sure she stays out of trouble, that one. She seems to be one of the more promising newcomers to our city.
Selena would nod in agreement.
I am quite saddened to say that I think most of the newcomers are quite scared of me.
Well, as is only fitting. And Selena would kind of gaze at him with admiration. You have achieved much in the time you've been our sheriff.
And I don't intend to stop anytime soon.
From what I've been hearing, Lucius seems to find himself the important member of the court these days. He seems to be very active, let's say.
Aye, he's quite skilled, but a little bit rash. Bit too direct.
She would lean forward and brush one hand gently down his arm. Precious, I just think that perhaps you ought to watch that one. He seems a little ambitious.
Oh,
Beware of daggers in your back, if you get my drift.
I'll keep an eye on him for you. Again, he's still playing with her hair. Probably gets to the point where they need to order.
Selena would order something light, as though she doesn't have much appetite.
Sam taking after his father-in-law. What's it called? Fat fucking fingers, I believe is what we called him. Is gonna order meat. He's gonna order a lovely juicy steak, because he's gonna order the best meaty meal on the menu, because it's not quite like it. The Irishmen love their meat.
Selena has been accused of that once or twice over the years too. But this evening she will stick to salad.
It's not like you. Can you tell me what now?
I don't have much of an appetite this evening, Precious. It's nothing to worry about. I think perhaps the recent losses to the city have taken their toll on me. Almost everyone, apart from yourself, of course, Precious, that I considered a friend is no longer with us. The disgusting Sabbat have a lot to answer for.
Yeah, and with that, Sam moves his like chair around the table, so it's basically next to hers, and kind of puts an arm around her and leans her in.
She leans against him and just kind of rests her head on his shoulder. I thought highly of Ghost, and although she was rough around the edges, I shall miss her greatly.
I'll miss Tobias as well.
She bows her head at the mention of Tobias's name and nods slowly. Yes, I too will miss him. He was a wonderful man. I was lucky enough to get to know him.
As was I.
I saw him after whatever they did to him. And although the thing standing before me looked exactly like him, it was clearly not Tobias. I got out of there as quickly as I could. If I hadn't, I probably wouldn't be sitting here now.
I'm glad you did.
She nods and just kind of sits silently for a moment, as if just a little moment of silence for those that have lost their lives.
And some time passes, and Sam moves back to where he was before, and now have some dinner, which of course they'll have to throw up later.
Well, to be fair, Selena doesn't eat a lot of it. She just kind of has about a mouthful and pushes the rest around the plate a little. And then she would look up at him and say, "So, what are your plans?"
I found that one of the captain of the police department in Harlem is a Sabbat ghoul. We need to get rid of him, and once we do, we can move on Harlem.
And is there any way that I can help with this at all?
I'm gonna have some people come out against him, see if they can dig up any dirt on him, and if once I find it, if you can go spreading it around your own circles, we might be able to force his resignation.
I can certainly do that. Rumors are rife within my circles. Any information you wish to become public knowledge, then just let me know.
I'll send some people to dig up some dirt, and then I'll have you work your magic. Kind of rustles her hair slightly when he says that. Like he's like patting her on the head approvingly.
She would lean in against his hand. It is nice to have an opportunity to spend some time with you. I have missed you.
Aye, me too.
And
do you like... Oh, sorry.
She just say, and whatever happens in the coming night, promise me you'll be careful.
I promise you I'll be very, very careful.
I know that you're a big, tough sheriff these days, and she'd kind of get a playful look on her face as she said that. But I still worry about you.
And you're my little pristine primogen. You ain't the only one who gets concerned.
I don't think anyone, well, at least from the Sabbat, wishes to do me any more harm than any other member of the court. Whereas you, darling, your position alone paints a target on you.
I've managed to do any interlopers so far, and I don't intend to let them get the best of me anytime soon. Would you like to come back to my place so we can talk some more?
Absolutely. That sounds delightful.
I mean, should I really even be rolling subterfuge for this? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 successes.
Yeah, she's gone back to him.
So they'll drive off, or they'll be driven home. They'll have some time to talk while they drive home, actually. And they're in the back of a lovely hired limousine for the evening.
Selena would turn to him and say, "It's a good job we're going back to yours, darling. I'm unable to use my own place at the moment."
Oh, what happened? He
Well,
cradles her cheek again.
Tobias knew of its location, and so when he became compromised, so did my haven. So I'm currently staying somewhere organized by the prince. But I hope to sort somewhere new and unknown out for myself quite soon.
Perhaps you can stay with me for a while. Take the weight off the prince's shoulders.
Well, what a gracious offer, Precious. I would like that very much.
Glad to hear it, darling. And he'll give her a kiss.
Which she would return quite passionately.
And they make out for long enough that we get back to Sam's apartment. Well, not apartment, his freaking mansion. Oh, apartment. What is this strange apartment that Sam has never been in at all? No. There's a giant mansion on the edge of town in the estates. For estates that can be in Manhattan, of course, is an island. And yeah, he'll open the door be open for them by the chauffeur, who is quite a gruff-looking fellow for a guy who's a chauffeur. But he seems surprisingly presentable for someone of his stature. He'll just say good evening to the both of them, and of course the rented car will be off its way as Sam walks Selena in.
Yeah, she would go inside with him. She's been there enough times to feel quite at home there.
Yeah, there's no one else in right now. It's quite big. Even if there was someone else in, it's unlikely they'd even be spotted coming in. Other than the security staff, of course. Well, how have things been going for you, ignoring these recent traveling events?
Well, on the whole, darling, I'm ashamed to say that I've been keeping my head down, keeping out of trouble. I should probably have been making myself more available. But I have been recruiting for our coterie. And despite the setback regarding Lucy, Arthur has graciously agreed to join Invictus, and I am hoping to speak with Nikki very soon, and hoping that she will also agree to join us. But I thought that having Arthur on our team could only be an asset after what I've heard about the marvelous weaponry he can make.
Ah, yes. But who could turn you down, darling?
She gets a slightly sour look on her face and says, well, Jasmine, apparently, in quite a petty way. She's still clearly salty about that.
So only fools, then. He pokes her on the nose.
She'd smile. Apparently so, darling. And then she'd just make her way kind of through the house, making sure that he was following, and yeah, why not head straight to his bedroom?
Oh, one step ahead of Sam. He as he goes over and he wraps an arm around her. Again, kind of having her lean in. I'll just say, is there anything you'd like before we head off to bed? Can I get you a drink?
She'd shake her head with a smile and just say, this evening, you, precious, are all I need.
Oh, with that, he has no words but a kiss. How lovely Selena is.
She'd lead him into the bedroom, where she would rapidly lose her clothing, and one thing would no doubt lead to another.
As we once again end the scene on World War Again. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.